Well, good morning and welcome to the Country Computer Consultant. We had some rain, it greened up, wind died down, so it's time to burn some brush. It's been sitting here for almost 5 years, been building it up, finally got it pushed up, dug a circle around it so nothing burns out, and we can get that done now. They lifted the burn ban just this week. So, now that we're getting cleaned up and spring cleaning, if you will, let's talk about computer moves. You know, this is sort of wraps up our series on how the economy is making us do some cutbacks and some other painful things, and computer moves is going to be part of that. Just moving people around, just in case you're consolidating departments, you know, laying off people, other people have to wear different hats, do different things. So, before you do the move, make sure you plan it out good. Planning's the key. Back in '92, we had to do an 800-person move with British Petroleum from their Galleria Sage area office out to their brand new 20-story building out there on 6 and I-10 out there near Westlake. 800 Macintoshes. They had a lot of stuff. We did it over a 4-day weekend to where we started at 7 a.m. on Thanksgiving Day. We finished up around midnight that Sunday before everybody came to work at the new location, expecting everything to work perfect. It went pretty well, but one thing that we really learned, that prep and testing is the key. Back then, Cat 3 was just introduced with Twisted Pair Ethernet to the desktop. Before that, we had 10BASE-2, that little thin net stuff, all to all the workstations. Running AppleTalk with all those little white Macintosh, little bitty screen about that big. Well, this was the first site that we'd ever done the Cat 3. And the big thing that we learned was the testing. Southwestern Bell was doing all the comm in that building, and they outsourced it, of course, to get the wire pulled. That new Cat 3 all punched down to another company who is defunct now, and I'll tell you why. But what we learned that later, we found out that they didn't test it well at all. There was no real good standards and procedures to test. They said they tested it, but found out what they did was they started 20 floors. Start on the first floor, they go to each office, each cube, and they test. Well, it wasn't each office and each cube. They did the first 10%. If the 100% of that 10% tested good, they went on to the next floor. You can see how that went. So come Thursday, Friday, when we start to move workstations in there, about 10 to 20% of that crap didn't work. Well, Deans, that means 90%, 80% worked, right? That's not bad. When you're messing with 800 workstations, you're talking about well over 100, 140 didn't work. And when you're in a mode to where you're just trying to hump boxes and get stuff back up, get a good link light and IP address going, that's a lot. So for the next 4 days, I was running around with a tester and a spreadsheet pointing out, well, that doesn't work. Well, that's not punched down right there. You know, that's not labeled right. That's not even patched in. So it was a nightmare. So, big one, especially with networking. Make sure that the location that you're going to, I can feel that heat. Boy, it feels good. The location that you're going to has a hot jack there. Make sure that it's patched up good. It's going to where you think it's going. And verify it's getting the right IP address. You know, layer 2 and 1 with a link light's one thing. Layer 3 active with that IP address actually coming from DHCP if you're not statically assigned. Most offices are dynamically assigned with DHCP. Make sure you're getting that right IP address. If you are statically assigned, make sure that that's compatible with the new location. You know, if you're going from floor to floor, especially building to building, odds are that subnet's going to be different. Make sure that you're getting the right IP address, the right mask, the right default gateway, or your DNS is right. That again comes down to the planning. On some other issues, make sure you move all their stuff with them. Man, you want some complaining on Monday, move stuff around, or give them a new printer or a new monitor or a different keyboard. You'll really have some fussing then. Move all their stuff. Don't try to mix and match. Don't change to me because they're already getting a different physical location. You change the stuff that they change. Let me get that right. If you change the stuff that they touch, such as the keyboard, the mouse, even the printer, monitor. Make sure that they have the same stuff when they get there the next day. Gives you a lot less grief. You'll have enough on your hands just making all this new stuff in new places work right. If there's any ergonomic pads or the way things are, make sure that gets there too. Also, what I learned over the past few years is to take a snapshot of their work environment. You know, back in 1992, we didn't have digital camera. I think the first one we bought was like $1,000. It was black and white, and we just begged for it just to be able to do site layout documentation. But everybody's got a colored digital camera in their phone. Take a digital picture of the way things are laid out, especially in the back. Now, I've been to the back of some workstations, and man, almost every USB port's filled. Then it's got some serial in there, different type of connections. Make sure if it's complex, document it. Make sure that you know where stuff is plugged into right. And this goes double for a server room. And if you're moving all sorts of servers and external hard drives and this and that, you got to verify that you're putting all that back together right. And the way to do that, I had a little move here with a bank just a few months ago, and I was not actually doing the move for them. I just consulted to help them make sure it went right, and we verified that all the connections were documented, and she did a really good job. She labeled every end of every cable in that whole server room. I think she spent all Saturday afternoon doing that. So when I helped her do the hookup that next week, it was perfect. There was no thinking. You know, 1 went to 1, 3 went to 3, 14 went to 14. Everything worked like a champ. So prepare and document well. It really saves you in the end. It even goes with the monitors. That even goes down to the details. No one's getting nitpicky here, but when you get to move, especially when you move some people, they'll fuss if it's not just right. Make sure that all the little stickies and all their dial crap that they put on these monitors and on top of the CPUs, make sure that gets there too. Because some people have some really important stuff written down on those stickies, so you just can't grab the workstation and the monitor and rip all that stuff out and throw that stuff in the trash. Get ready for some fussing if you do. So, just to wrap this up, now that we're getting a good burn going, see how it's doing a nice slow burn across there. It'll burn for probably about 4 or 5 hours, but there's no wind and stuff is green and wet, so I'll be able to watch it from afar. In fact, you can't see this where you are, but I'm watching the horizon here. I can see about 360 degrees. I see all these plumes of smoke out there. We haven't been able to burn in about 3 months, so I'm not the only yahoo that's out here. Anyway, plan your moves good. Test that networking before you get there. Verify it with, just take a laptop. Like if they're going to go, especially if it's new construction, extremely important. Take a laptop out there, plug it in before the move. Make sure that new drop is hot. Make sure you're getting the right IP address. Verify the power is good. Verify that you've got enough length of cable. If their desk is going to go over here and the engineer or the architect put all the drops here, verify, pre-purchase those patch cables. So sometimes you have to go 16 or 20 feet around. You want to be cutting patch cables the day of. Pre-purchase all of that. In the IDF room, verify that all that stuff is pre-patched to the right switch, especially if they're different VLANs. Alrighty. Well, as this burns, I'm warm now. When I started this, I was a little bit chilly. Everything's good now. So good luck on your moves. You'll probably be doing more of them than you think. Pre-plan it, you'll be okay. This is the Country Computer Consultant. Have a good day.